Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. This month, our focus is on the just-in-time credentialing. In this training, we're going to be looking at how to create credentials on the fly using RAPID TAG and Salamander Live. As always, our monthly trainings are recorded and will be posted on our Salamander YouTube channel. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to ask. You can unmute yourself and do so, or you can send me a message through the chat function. So when needing to create a credential on the fly on site, again, whether this is for a planned event or an unplanned event, there are two solutions that allow you to quickly do so. And this is RAPID TAG and Salamander Live. So we're going to first talk about RAPID TAG. So RAPID TAG, this solution was built to quickly check in resources and print those resources an event-specific credential on the spot. So it's only two of our software that allows you to scan a non-Salamander ID, such as a driver's license, a vehicle registration, and others, and use that information to create the person's profile and check them into the event. Once the event is over, these event-specific credentials are generally disposed of. So they're only used for that particular event. Afterwards, they are thrown away. So let's talk a little bit about the process here. So to print a credential from RAPID TAG, you need to have a laptop with the RAPID TAG software installed. You need your RAPID TAG login if you're using version 5. If you're using version 4 or prior, you do not need a login. You just need the software installed. You want to make sure you have a USB scanner. This is going to allow you to scan those driver's licenses and other IDs. And then you'll need your printer and your printing supplies. Now, the printing software is built into the RAPID TAG software, so there's no additional printing software needed to install. So once you install RAPID TAG, you'll be able to print. Also, with the RAPID TAG install package, it comes with a bunch of standard RAPID TAG designs for you to select from. The design that you select will be dependent on the type of printer and media you'll be using. So you'll see here I've got two samples on here. So with RAPID TAG, you can choose to print hard cards, which would mean that you would have your hard card printer installed on that laptop or that computer. And then for wristbands or other label type designs, you want to make sure that you have your mobile printer. Okay. We always recommend RAPID TAG being installed on a laptop because that makes it mobile, so that you can transport that to site to site. Now with RAPID TAG, the most proficient way to check someone into the event is by scanning their driver's license or other acceptable ID. On the next slide, I have a list of all the different types of IDs that you can scan in, and that's going to be for version 5. Now, information that's stored in that ID is then parsed and then placed into the specific fields within RAPID TAG. And really what that does is just saves you data entry time. Now, if scanning isn't an option, you do also have the ability to manually add people into the information into the system. So you can click the add button right here and manually enter in their information. Once information is inputted into the system, an event-specific credential can be printed on the spot. And this really it makes RAPID TAG a tagging and tracking solution. Now, the RAPID TAG credential itself, it's going to contain some basic information that you captured within that RAPID TAG record. And then on top of that, you're going to have that interoperable QR code. Okay, so that QR code that can be scanned back into RAPID TAG for checkout or check-in again, and or by any of our Salamander tracking solutions, such as the Track app or Command. Here are the two different types of designs. So I talked about the 1x10. So this is the wristband design, and this is a 2x3 that you can print off. On this slide, here's the list of all the different types of IDs that's supported in RAPID TAG version 5.0. Now with version 4.0, if you have the older version, just know that it has an older reader. So this list is a little bit more limited. Now, if you are interested in updating to version 5, please contact Salamander Support, your local rep, and then they can get you updated to the newest version. The only thing with version 5 is that you do have to have Windows 10, so it does require that on your computer. So without further ado, let's walk through the process in Rapid Tag. So I've got my Rapid Tag up and running here. So first things first, before you start an event, I highly recommend you go through your options and double check that all your settings are correct. So you go to File, Options. Okay. First things first is syncing, making sure that you set your syncing to have it automated. So I highly recommend anything from 3 to 5 minutes, but again, you have your options down here from 1 to 5 minutes. Okay. So what this does is that each time, or when that time limit is met, it's going to send that information up to Salamander Live. Now, if you have version 5, it's going to bring that information back in as well too. So it's two-way syncing right here. For scanners, you want to make sure that you have your scanner plugged in and it's working and it's connected. Now the scanners and printers are very specific in the port that it's set up in. So once you set up your USB scanner in a specific USB port on your computer, make sure it's plugged in that same USB port every single time. Because if you don't, that means that your USB scanner has to be reset up. Okay, it's not going to recognize that. So I highly recommend you put little stickers, at the USB port and then on the USB, the bottom of that, okay, where you're going to be plugging that in. That'll kind of help you identify which is which. And you want to do that same thing for your printers as well. At the bottom here, there's an option for you to not collect personally identifiable information from a driver's license. Very popular option in this case. So when you scan a driver's license, it's only going to grab in the essential information, such as the name, the driver's license, and expiration. It's not going to pull in any address information if that's stored within that driver's license. Okay, so an option for you can uncheck that as you see fit. For printing, this is where you need to go in and look at what media you're looking at printing, okay, and what kind of printer you have, because this needs to be set up to match up with your printer settings. So in January, I talked about the whole printing process and how to get your print control software installed and the print setup within your printing preferences. This kind of goes back to that training. So you'll see in here, there's all different types of records you can print. You can print a company, which is also the same thing as a collection or team or group. So you can select a design for that. Responder, so this is your people. And then you've got equipment in this case. So each of these have their own specific designs that are available. Now, on my computer, I see there's some background noise there. Okay, apologize on that. So in here, you'll see that there is a select number of designs that's available for each record that you select. So for example, I selected company, which is again collection. So if I click my drop down for my design, I'm going to see the designs that are available. Now my design list is a little bit longer and yours may look a little bit different. It all depends on what you have installed on your computer. So on my computer, I've got all the software installed. I've got print control, to print from Salamander Live. I've got Rapid Tag, Rapid Tag Evac, Command, etc. So that's why I've got all these designs available to me. Now, if this is solely just a Rapid Tag computer, meaning you only okay, so that's the default that comes with the Rapid Tag install package. Okay. Now, if you also have print control installed on here, you'll see those designs populate as well. Yes, you can select those designs. You can print those designs. Again, these designs right here, 2x3, that requires that hard card printer. You've got 3x5, those are labels. So that requires a mobile printer. And then you've got 8.5x11, which is going to print off to your copier printer. Okay. Now responders in this case, you'll see my list. I've got a longer list in this case. Again, for people and equipment, the designs that we have, the standard designs we have available are a lot more variety. Okay. So in this case, you can decide on which you are looking at printing. Most popular is going to be the 1x10 Rapid Tag. So that's that wristband. Okay. And then of course you have the 2x3s. I recommend printing. If you're printing from Rapid Tag, I recommend you selecting the Rapid Tag design versus any other of the art card designs. The reason for that is, again, that's a temporary design. It helps you differentiate who was checked in through Rapid Tag versus who was checked in, or whose, I should say, ID was created through Rapid Tag versus whose ID was created through Salamander Live. Okay, because again, these are meant to be temporary type IDs that you're going to throw away after the event is done. Okay, so these ones right here. So I've got samples I'll show you guys later when we actually do some printing. And then you've got equipment over here as well too. If you're looking at scanning and checking in equipment and printing off ID tags for your equipment, feel free to. Um, Most don't, but you have that option if you wanted to. Now, just a couple of things to notice on here is that some of these designs are not available for all. Okay, so if you're looking at printing a collection ID for your collections, responder IDs, and equipment ID, just note that you want to make sure that you select a design that's available for all three. If not, you're going to need to switch out your printers and your printing supplies, or you need to make sure that you have two separate printers set up on that computer so that allows you to print those different designs. Okay, so for example, equipment. Equipment doesn't have a 1x10 design. Same thing with company, does not have a 1x10. You can't print wristbands for those two type of records. That's only available for responders. So if you have one printer set up to print off wristbands and you're also looking at printing out collections, your only other option is going to be 2x3, or you've got the 3x5. And that's really it. And that again, that requires you to go in and change that wristband, take that out and put in the 3x5 labels, or have your hard card printer ready and then select the hard card design. Okay. So just something to think about when you're setting this up and trying to figure out how you're going to check in all your different types of resources through Rapid Tag. Copies, you can select the number of copies. Of course, select your printer in this case. I don't have an actual card printer or mobile printer selected, so I usually just print to PDF for training. And then your output type, I recommend auto print, but again, you have your options to manually print here as well. You don't have to worry too much about encoding. Encoding is for a specific type of smart reader that allows you to encode into a smart chip on the ID card versus printing a barcode. Okay, so if you have that fancy equipment, you can definitely select this here. Okay, but I usually just go to auto print so that when finished, what happens is that it automatically selects this. So when I click finish to finish entering that record in, it's going to automatically send that data to my printer and then print me off an ID card right away without me needing to go up here and click print. Last but not least is the assignment. So this is the default assignment. So every person that you check into Rapid Tag in this case is going to be placed into this default assignment. This is open text. You can put whatever you want in here, okay? I just have mine in as checked in because I only have one Rapid Tag. So in this way, it keeps it separate from all my other assignments. So I know that if I have checked in, that means that all those people that's in that checked in assignment have been checked in through my Rapid Tag system and they're waiting to be assigned. So they may be placed into a staging area to be assigned an assignment. Okay. Now, a couple things to note on here is that if you have multiple Rapid Tag computers and multiple check-in stations, you could name them as such. So if this is checked in and you want to put this for a specific site or location, let's say this one is located at Maryland and the other one's located at Portland, you could put checked in Maryland, checked in Portland. So in your event, you're going to be able to see how many resources you've checked in at the different check-in points, and that's available for assignment. Last but not least on this is the enable checkout option. I highly recommend you guys click this checkbox. What this does is that it allows you to scan that ID card. So once they're checked into the event, it puts them into an assignment, more likely going to be checked in or whatever you put in here. If you scan their ID card a second time, it's going to immediately and automatically put them into the off-scene assignment. Okay. What that does is it stops the clock for that individual. So they're not accruing any more costs, and it shows that they're no longer on scene or on site. Okay, so I recommend that. Again, it's completely optional, but you do have to go in here if you want to be able to automatically scan a second time to put them in off scene. Just make sure that that's checked. Once you make your changes, click apply and save. So again, a process that you want to do before you start the event. Okay. Once you have your settings set the way you need to, you can go ahead and start your event. Okay. So I'm going to start my event. I'm just going to call this, again, this is the solar eclipse is coming soon. I'm just going to call this solar eclipse. Okay. Unfortunately, Minnesota, I'm in Minnesota, we're not in the pathway, but I know that a lot of you that are in that pathway are probably going to get a ton of people that'll be gathering in different sites to see this phenomenon. So I'm go ahead and click start. Once I click start, one thing that you want to do, if you want to do ahead of time, you'll see that my production status says unknown. I have my interval to sync up every 5 minutes. So right now, my administrators that's managing this in the Salamander Live system and my track app users, they don't see this event. They're not going to see this event right now because I'm not currently I'm not connected to my Salamander Live account yet. So if you want to manually push this forward, you can go ahead and click sync and it's going to update. It's going to send that data up to Salamander Live. So now your status should say online. And if I log into Salamander Live right now, I should see my event called Solar Eclipse 2024. If I've got track app users that are tied to this organization or this event, they log into their track app, they'll be able to see this event called Solar Eclipse 2024. And within that, they should see two assignments, checked in and off scene, because those are the two that are created through this event. So from here, it's easy as going through and then scanning your people in. Okay, so you've got your different tabs, personnel, equipment, collections, and organization. If you wanted to ahead of time go in and create your list of organizations that may come and support your event, feel free to do so ahead of time. It just saves data entry time when you're entering in people into the system, into Rapid Tag. Okay. Now this organization list is completely separate than the one that's in Salamander Live. This is just in Rapid Tag. So these are going to be like your volunteer agency, mutual aid, outside of your organization or outside of your account. So all you're going to do is you're going to take your scanner and then scan a driver's license or any of those IDs that I showed on that slide. Okay, because we're recording and all of this is being posted into publicly on our YouTube channel, I'm not going to scan in my driver's license, which has my personal information. So I'm going to walk this as using the add function down here. So this is how you can manually add in records. Okay. So just simply click add and you'll see the form here. So if you were to scan a driver's license, this form is going to pop up. And then depending on what information's been encoded into that barcode on that ID, it's going to parse it through in its specific areas right here in the different fields. First things first is organization. You'll see that my organization, this is from my training account. This is the default. This is going to populate at the top here. Okay, so you want to make sure that you go in and select the correct organization. If you select the wrong organization, you cannot go back and edit this. Okay, it's not something you can edit. So it's going to be forever in this event that they are tied to this organization, even in the reports. The only way to change it is you have to pull the report and manually change it on the reports if you make a mistake. So if you're training someone on how to use this, this is the very first thing. Let them know it's a very important step. In here, I've got my list. Again, this is pulling from my organization list within Rapid Tag. If you saw earlier, I only had 2 organizations. So this is where I was saying that it's going to help you with data entry by allowing you to just select it from the drop down instead of needing to go over here, click new, and then adding your organization. Wish they could be changed? Yes, yes, Steve. And you'll notice that's the same with any of our tracking applications, is that the organization is something that you've never been able to change. It's a static piece of information. Yes, yes, I understand. when people are coming in fast. That's why it's a best practice to go into your organization tab and fill out and add in all those different organizations that you think it's going to come and work your event and support your event. So if you take some time and do that ahead of time, it's going to save you this time of of going in here and creating that organization. So great questions and great comments. I will send this over to my development team. I'm not going to promise anything, but I know that there's been talks of updating Rapid Tag event. And again, that's like far out future. But there's talks on that of things that we can do to improve this. So I'll put that on their radar. So in here on this organization form, you're just going to type in the organization name. So who is it? I'm just going to put in here American Red Cross. Okay. Again, you can put whoever you want in here. If it's a fire department that's come in to assist, they're in staging, and they're not within your organization, they're mutual aid to come and assist, you can put that in there. Again, you can put whatever you want in here. If it's just a base volunteer agency, you want to just put everybody in as volunteer agency, feel free to do so. This is completely up to you. It's how you want that organized within your reports. Okay, so you can go down here, select what it is that you're looking for. Okay, so if it's not in here, you can put unknown. There's an other in here as well too. Okay. So I'm just going to put here volunteer, country, and then state. I'm in Minnesota, so that's what I'm going to do, and then click finish. So once you do that, American Red Cross, you'll see your organization is now listed in the dropdown. Okay. In this case, you can type in the person's first or last name. Okay, that's required. So these 4 pieces of information are required for every record, which is the same in Salamander Live. So you can type in that person's name. Made up name here. All right, so person's name, if you want to capture their contact information, highly recommend you at least get a phone number or email for that individual. I know for FEMA reimbursements, they do request some sort of contact info. So put in their contact info if you can, if they provide it. If not, at least you have one or the other. Okay. All this other stuff right here is going to be optional. Again, for a manual entry, if you wanted to check someone real quick in here, this is probably the information you want to make sure that you check that you collect for each person. Everything else on here is going to be optional. And you're probably not going to be, most people are not going to be willing to give up address information, etc. Okay. Down here, you'll see the assignment is checked in. This was the default that I set up under the file, if you remember, file options. That's the default. And then the other one that you have is off scene. So yes, you can select these if need be. Now, if you're working off version 5 and this event has been joined with another event that's maybe been created through the track app or created through a plan, those assignments will also pull through. Okay. So that's an administrator's job on the back end to go into Salamander Live to make that happen. They have to merge that data so that your rapid tag is now merged and joined in with your track app users, so they see the data that you're collecting from your rapid tag computer, and then they can utilize those resources that you're checking in. Salamander Live on the back end, administrators can go in and see what you've scanned in and checked in so far, as well as all the track app users as people are being moved out and reassigned. That's creating that common operating picture. Okay, so those will pull in. As right now, we just have this as a standalone solution. You do have the option for rate. This is completely up to you if you want to put a rate in here. If you want something to populate on the cost reports, if you put a rate in here, it's going to start calculating this person by this rate with their time. So the moment we click finish, it's going to take, that's the timestamp, and it's going to enter that person in and start accruing costs. Expiration date, this is completely up to you as well. This does print off in the ID cards as well as the wristbands, but you do have the option to put an expiration date on this. So this tells you that this ID for this person is going to expire on this date and this time. So if you choose to do this, just know that, let's say this ends today, so it's a 1-day event. Okay. I can put the time on here that this ends at 2,300 hours. Okay, so this does only accept military time. And then if you want to put their title, feel free to. Again, completely optional. They're volunteer, whatever their role is, you can put that in there. If they're a nurse, their role, and then the location. These are also printed off on the cards as well as the wristbands. Okay, so completely optional for you to enter in what their role is for during this event, and as well as their location. So if they're, again, we see organizations use this to like put maybe areas or locations that they're restricted to. So if you have multiple zones or that that require different clearance, you could put that in here that this person is only available in, it can only be in zone green. They can't be in zone blue or red or whatever you name your zones as. Okay. So by looking at their ID cards, it tells them the highest clearance that they have. So you can put that on there, which will print off an ID card. Again, completely optional, but just some agencies have used that in that fashion for their ID cards. Once you're done in this case, simply click finish. Okay, so you click finish, it's going to send this up to your printer. You see that my print when finished was selected already, so you'll see it's sending data. Okay, so I'm printing the PDF, so this is what's populating right here. I got my 1x10. Put this on my desktop, and then I've got my design. So I'll populate that for you so you can see what that looks like. So here it is. The wristband, so you'll see in here the person's name, their organization. I put a title in there, so that's why that populates here. If I put a role, that would have populated right here. You'll see the level right there as well too. I'll make sure it's nice and big. And then you'll see that I put an expiration date on there and a time. So you're going to see that on there. There's the date and the time in which this tag expires. Okay. So again, that's a wristband. Now, if you do select the Rapid Tag card, this is what it's going to look like. So you got the QR code right there. Got the QR code right there. And then your information that you filled in is going to populate through there as well. So you got your two different types of designs that you can select from depending on the printer that you have that you're using for Rapid Tag. All right. Now, if you print off those art card designs, not essentially a Rapid Tag design, it's the same design. Okay. So if you had print control installed or you had the standard default designs, the R card designs installed on your Rapid computer, you can print the same designs as you have within Salamander Live. The difference is that some of this information is going to not populate through because you can't put qualifications on a Rapid Tag record. It does not exist. Any questions on here? I think I see a question. Okay, no questions. All right. All right, so that's Rapid Tag. So again, you've got that barcode. If you scan that barcode a second time, it's going to immediately put that person into the checkout assignment. Okay, so that's what that does. Okay. So that's using Rapid Tag for just-in-time credentialing. It's probably the easiest solution to use when it comes to just-in-time credentialing. It's what we recommend, especially for anybody that doesn't have a Salamander Live credential. Now, can you use it to check in people that don't have that already have a credential? Absolutely, you can. Okay. So all you're doing is you're just using Rapid Tag to scan in. So instead of using the track app, you can use this to quickly check people in as well. Okay. So it's not a big issue in this case. So I'll get my USB scanner plugged in here so you can actually see this working. Give me 1 second here. Sound. If my USB hub is working. All right. So I'm going to go in here, just options real quick here, double check my USB scanner, make sure it's working. I apologize. I'm going through here. All right, there it is. All right. So all I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to scan in that barcode that I have. So here's that barcode. I'm going to minimize it here so you can see what happens. So all I'm doing is I'm scanning that barcode. Okay, Windows 11 here. Get that barcode. Okay, scan that barcode. And you'll see it immediately puts that person off scene. So that's what I'm talking about, is that it allows you to scan that barcode a second time. If you scan a third time, puts that person back in. So you can quickly use this as a check-in, check-out. Again, you can scan other types of barcodes in here too. If you have Salamander barcodes, you can scan those in. So if I had my other barcodes, I can scan those individuals in as well too. Make sure this is nice and big. Get that barcode. So there it is. So you can see that information populate through. You'll see it's pulling out their information. And then you don't need to print off an ID card because they already have one. So in this case, you can just uncheck the print when finished and then click finish. And there you go. You got that person checked in. So just two different ways of just in time checking people in. Again, you're credentialing them, you're checking them in. All right. Any questions? Yes, Steve. Steve had a comment that he found using Rapid Tag works better on wristbands than the Track app does. The reason for because of the camera. So usually when you have it on a wristband, you've got to think about the circumference, like this, it's being wrapped around a person's wrist, and so you have to make sure that it's the wristband, the QR code is showing nice and straight, so you can scan it nicely. With the USB scanner, it just scans a little bit better than a camera does. Correct. Yep. QR needs to be flat. That is correct. So that's why that barcode scanner just works a little bit better. It can read it better, even if there's a little curve to it. It reads it just a little bit better. All right, so we'll continue here and we'll move on to Salamander Live. So this is for users that are accounts that are not subscribed to Rapid Tag. So if you don't have the Rapid Tag solution, it's not the end of the world when it comes to just-in-time credentialing. Again, you could utilize Salamander Live as a secondary option to create these just-in-time credentials. The only caveat when going this route is making sure that your Salamander Live people record limit is set high enough to allow for the additional records. Okay. So again, depending on your package that you purchase, you have a set allowed number of personnel records you can have in the system. So if you're using this route, you want to make sure that you plan this out correctly so that if your event, you want to make sure that the number of people that you're going to be checking in, using this as that option, that you have the right number of records to allow for that. Now for this process, you'll want to utilize the quick add function. So the quick add function is the left menu, and then you'll see quick add and you'll see those options listed there. Okay. So when the people option is selected, the people form is going to open immediately and allow you to enter in the person's information. Now, as the organization name is required to create the record, you may want to add the organizations in beforehand because again, in this case, you have to select one, right? So if you worked with Salamander Live before, you know that when you type in an organization name, it has to exist within your organization database. If not, you can't go through this route. You have to go out of this form, go and create the organization first, and then you can add that person to that organization. So that's the only thing you want to make sure that you have set up in this case if you're going this route. Once a person's record is completed and saved, you'll land on their profile page, just like how you currently do right now. And then you have the option to print their individual credentials. So you'll see the print button right there, and then you can go and select your design and print them on a card. So when it comes to printing in Salamander Live, it's recommended you install the print control software and license key on a laptop, which makes it portable for on-site printing. Okay. So yes, it does require, if you're printing from Salamander Live, it does require that print control software. You got to make sure that's installed and you have a print license key. If you currently have your print control and license key installed on a desktop and you want to move it over to a laptop, just contact our support team and they can help you get that transferred over. Okay. Just make sure that if your computer's on lockdown, you have your IT as a part of that call because they'll need to go in and be able to do the downloads. Now, designs that you can select from will be dependent on the type of printer and print media you use. If you already have a hard card printer and the printing supplies for it, you can utilize that to print all your credentials on site. Now, for a secondary option, if you have a mobile printer, you can print other types of IDs, such as wristbands instead of hard cards. This option does require you to install the wristband design. Okay, so if you wanted to go this route, printing wristbands from Salamander Live, make sure that you contact us at Salamander Support. And what we'll do is we'll send you our standard 1x10 rapid tag design. We'll help you install it into a folder. So there's a folder within your computer that stores all of your designs. So I'll pull that up so you can actually see what that looks like. So it's in your Windows C drive. Pull this up over here. So it's in your Windows C drive, and then from here, you can click on Program Data. Now, if it's hidden, you want to make sure that you go to View and then Show All Hidden Items. Okay. So I'm on Windows 11, so that's where that's located. If you have Windows 10, you'll have the View as a tab at the top. And then go to Program Data. From there, go to Salamander, and then go to IDs Plus, and then design files. So that's where all of the standard designs are stored, even your custom ones. If you have custom designs, that's where everything is stored. So our software pulls from this folder. So Rapid Tag pulls from this folder. Salamander Live pulls from this folder. Okay. So what we do is we just send you the 1x10 design. So right here, we just send that over to you, place it into this folder on your computer, and now you should have access to that design to print. All right, so let's pull up Salamander Live here. I'll log in. Make sure this is nice and big. Everybody can see. So you'll see there's my solar eclipse event. I started one the other day for a training as well too. That's why there's two in there. But you'll see it here. So left menu, you should see the quick add function. Go ahead and click on that. And then you're simply going to click on people. Once you click on people, it's going to pull up the form. Same form that if you went to people and then clicked on new, it's the same form. It's just a quicker way to get there, so you don't have to click on people, click plus. You're just going to click on quick add people, and then this pops up. So same information, same type of things that you're going to collect on here. What do you want to collect for each person you're checking through this? So if these are volunteers and you want just the basic information, you have that option to do so. So in this case, you can leave the ID numbers as the system generated, enter in the organization name. Okay. So if you see in here, if I start typing volunteer, I don't have that organization listed. Nothing's populating. So that means I have to go over here and create that. In this case, if I type in Moosewood, I'll have a bunch of them in here. Okay. So I've got a bunch of people in here, and I want to add them in here. I can simply do that. So I can select my organization. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to put in here Mercy Management, first name of that person, last name. Okay, if you wanted just to collect that base information, you have that option to do so. Okay. Okay, there it is. So first name, last name, and then you can go to employment. If you want the title printed off on there, you can put their title on there. Oops. And then that's it. If you want to collect rate information, feel free to. If you want to set this up under your account settings for a default rate, feel free to. You got your options. Again, it just depends on whether or not you have those features readily available to you. You have to be set up as an administrator in order to set up the account rate. Okay. Once you're done with that information, if you want to collect other information such as email or phone number, you have your option to do so. Okay. And then you're simply going to click save, and it's going to take you into the person's record. Now, if you have an external camera on site and you're looking at taking pictures, feel free to. But again, if you're using the rapid tag designs like the wristband, you don't need all that additional information. You don't need a picture on there. Okay. So all you're going to do is click print. Print control is going to open up with your print settings. There it is. And now you have your options. So I'm printing to my printer. So again, you want to make sure that you have your card printer set up on that laptop or your mobile printer, and then make sure that you have your design. So I'm just printing to the 1x10 rapid tag. So it's listed in here. Okay. This case, you don't have to put an issue and expiration date in this case. It does not print off on the rapid tag design. So the rapid tag design you're printing from here, it's not going to have that issue expiration date. So you can put that in there. It's not going to do anything really. So I'm going to click print. I'm going to save this. 1x10 Salamander Live. Go in here and find my design. It's saved. My desktop. And there it is. So you got the expiration date in there, so that does print off. The issue is what doesn't print off. And then your roles, levels. The role and level is very specific to rapid tags. You're not going to see anything printed off on there. There's not a field in Salamander Live that can go in here, but you'll see that information, other information pulls in here. So again, now that they have a barcode printed from Salamander Live, this can be scanned back into the track app, the rapid tag. Now you got your different options. Okay, so now they've got an ID that's printed in this case. They've got an ID card. Now what you want to do is you want to check them in. So after they have this ID card, you want to check them in. So in this case, you got a couple different options. So you can scan them in through rapid tag. So you send them over to the rapid tag station, they get checked in, right? Or you scan them over to a track app user and get them checked in to the event. So this step is a two-step process. So if you use Salamander Live, two-step. If you use rapid tag, it's one step technically because it checks them in and prints off the ID card at the same time. Versus this, you're just looking at printing off the ID card and then you got to get them sent over to someone to check them in. So that's just-in-time credentialing within Salamander Live. Any questions on that process? Any questions? No questions? All right. So that concludes today's training on just-in-time credentialing. If you have any questions afterwards, please feel free to email me. I'll put my contact information at the top here or in the slide here so you can see. You can email me, you can call me if you have questions. If you have an event that you're looking at using this for and you need some help with that, please feel free to reach out. We do offer a 1-hour free consultation that's provided to you for free, no cost, for us to kind of go through and kind of work through your process and how you're looking at using this for your event. Other than that, everybody, I just want to, again, thank you all so much for your time today. Hopefully you guys will come back next month. Next month, we are going to be covering importing. Or I'm sorry, checking in collections. I apologize. Checking in collections. And then the following month in May, we'll be doing importing. So All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for your time today. Please take care. Have a wonderful day.